Gentlemen, welcome to your NXT Takeover Chicago preview and predictions. We have got 5 matches set for this show, 4 championships on the line. And of course, you know that means that the only match that doesn't have a title on the line is going to be the one we talk about first. But before we get into that, I'm going to toss it over to my cohort and commentary. What are you thinking of this show so far?
Well, you know, brother, one of my favorite aspects of doing these with you is going over our preliminary hype, which sometimes changes after discussion, sometimes stays the same. Hell, sometimes when a pay-per-view looks so abysmal, it even gets lowered, like the hope just gets snuffed out. But for this show, I'm currently sitting, honestly, I'd say with it marinating with the addition of Strong Young and just really anticipating some matches, I'd say I'm at an even 7 out of 10. Yeah, I won't go any higher than that or lower. I think that's like kind of like my base right now. I'm actually really looking forward to this show. I think it'll be a fun time. Hopefully some matches go the way I want them to, but I'm not necessarily optimistic. We'll get into that later. But I have to ask, partner, what's your hype scale so far for this show?
Oh, man, I think my hype scale is at like a 6, 6.5 maybe. I'm looking forward to a couple matches, but I think the matches that they want me to look forward to the most, I'm kind of apathetic about.
Right. Well, with that said, unless you have any other early remarks, we can get right into going down this card.
All right. Hey, man, like I said, we're starting with the one match that does not have a championship involved in it, and that is Roderick Strong versus Eric Young. And coincidentally enough, this is also the match that show. So I'm predicting that the first match we're talking about is also going to be the first match on the show.
I would have to agree with you there, partner. It's very interesting to me because I should note that I read somewhere, I'd say maybe a week or 2 back, that the video, in-depth looks on Roderick Strong that we saw on those episodes of NXT actually have helped his profile. They've said he's been getting bigger pops at live events. Now, if this is true, 2 things. One, what I said on that NXT review about there needing to be more of these, highlighting certain NXT stars, I unequivocally stand by that. If anything, I'm even more forceful with it now, given that it's a proven concept. And 2, I really couldn't think of a better foil right now for this raised Roderick Strong in terms of his babyface momentum than Eric Young. That I really do think this is a smart match to have. It's a smart angle to have. Where it gets a bit prickly for me is who do you have win? Roderick just lost a big match to Hideo, and I don't really know what the long-term plans are for him. Meanwhile, I'm thinking any day that a babyface champion dethrones Roode, which may be here, I can never discount that possibility, you should have Eric Young waiting in the wings. That said, I'm going to resolve the internal debate within myself. I'm going to say that I think Roderick Strong should win this. I don't know. I feel like they should get behind him. And I think he will win. So I'm gonna go with Roderick Strong for the win here.
Oh, man, I wish I could just kind of join along with you there and agree with you, but I do think Eric Young is going to pick up the win here. For some reason, the writers and bookers and the creative team for NXT really, really does not like Sanity members lose clean.
Yeah. They don't really seem to be too fond of that, which, I mean, hell, on one hand, great, because you're keeping the leader of it strong. Again, any time a babyface steps up and they begin their reign, Eric Young, it's not a question of if, it'll be a question of when he gets his championship angle, you know what I mean? So that is a positive to that. On the other hand, Roode is kind of the guy right now. So really, when I look at matches like this, Ashton, I think my quandary is, I always imagine, even if it's not really the strongest connection, I always regard the NXT Championship match also on the show. So, yeah, I mean, maybe I'm kind of showing my hand picking Roddy, but I just have a feeling the babyface is going to get this. Plus, they did kind of jump Roderick after his reception, against Hideo. Maybe they'll want to give Roderick a measure of revenge, but what you say is also true. They always seem to interfere. Young always seems to get the win. So you're picking Young then, I take it.
Yeah, I am. I'm picking Eric Young to win, probably with the help of the other Sanity members, because I did see on the Wikipedia page that it's listed as Roderick Strong versus Eric Young with Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane. So not only do I fully expect Eric Young to win, but I also think that there's a chance that this might break down and Regal might come out and make it like a 6-man tag, adding Cassius Ohno and Aleister Black, or maybe Drew Galloway or Drew McIntyre, or some combination of those guys.
Yeah, that would be an interesting development for sure, because yeah, and it really shows you the place of modern day NXT when we can look at a card and be like, oh, well, Cassius Ohno isn't on it. Oh, Drew McIntyre isn't on it. Or next month, like, oh, this guy isn't on it. Because it's like talents are coming in all the time. You know what I mean? So it's nuts. So it'll be interesting to see if they do get incorporated somehow. We'll have to wait and see on that. But for now, our first disagreement right out of the gate, I'm picking Roderick. You're picking Eric Young. Let's move on.
All right, man. Well, it's interesting that we've already got our first disagreement of the night. Let's see where we go from here because, oh, and by the way, I want to give some credit to Cliff Amal in chat because he said something that really resonated with me. It's a modern-day takeover, 2 solid matches with newer guys, which steals the show, and then each match after that gets less interesting and arguably worse.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the takeover that can break that trend, but I mean, it is a trend for a reason, right? So I certainly can't disagree with Cliff at this time.
Honestly, I think that trend dates all the way back to TakeOver Brooklyn 2, I would say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think honestly, I'd have to go back and I think watch a lot of those takeovers, but definitely the more recent ones we've seen, I would certainly agree with you. But
actually, it might even go back as far as TakeOver The End, which is one before Brooklyn 2.
Right.
Because Dallas started Alpha Revival, and then Aries Corbin, and then Nakamura Zayn, and then Asuka Bailey was solid. So, like, I would say Dallas definitely doesn't necessarily follow the trend, but with The End, the first match on the card was Andrade versus Ty. So there's your new guy match. And then you had the tag match that stole the show. So there wasn't 2 matches before this tag match, but it was still the tag match stole the show. And then you had Nakamura Aries, which was, I would say, underwhelming, remembering how I felt about that match. And then you had Asuka Nia, which nobody had expectations for, and it didn't even live up to the low expectations we had for it. And then you had Joe Balor, which was a pretty, I would say that was the last really great main event that we've had on an NXT TakeOver, because that was the cage match where Joe beat the Demon, remember?
Yeah.
Brooklyn 2, that was really when kind of this trend started, because the first few matches all featured newer talents. You had Austin Aries and No Way Jose. Jose was newish around then. You had Ember Moon's debut against Billie Kay. You had Bobby Roode's, I believe, first match against Andrade. And then the tag match stole the show. And then Asuka Bailey was solid, but not as good as the tag match. And then Nakamura Joe was solid, but not as good as Asuka Bailey or the tag match. So, again, stair-stepping down. And then we can go to the next one. TakeOver Toronto. Roode Dillinger, and then AOP TM61. So the newer team there would be the AOP. Revival 2 out of 3 falls, which was match of the freaking year as far as the scope of WWE goes. And then Asuka Mickey was meh. And then Joe Nakamura 1000 was meh. And then, so that was that show. And then San Antonio followed the same freaking formula. Eric Young, relatively new, facing Ty Dillinger. Roderick Strong, relatively new, facing Andrade. Then the tag match, which was AOP versus DIY. Solid match, really fun, really good. Then the women's match. I would argue it's a little better than the tag match on that show, but that could just be hazy memory syndrome. But then the world title match was Bobby Roode and Nakamura again. So it's just repetitiveness. And Asuka, having held the women's championship for 14 months at this point, definitely does not help. Bobby Roode is a boring-ass champion. And then, of course, we look at the last TakeOver, and you had Sanity versus Roddy, Cassius, Ty, and Ruby. Aleister Black beat Andrade. Man, Andrade gets his ass whooped at TakeOvers. It is embarrassing. But then we had the 3-way tag match that was freaking incredible. And then again, stair-step down, Asuka Ember, stair-step down, Bobby versus Nakamura. And now we're here, and it's pretty much the exact same formula. We've got the match that we just talked about, Roderick Strong versus Eric Young. And then again, with newer guys, Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne, for the UK title, and I expect this match to be one of the top 3 matches on the card. I think the top 3 matches on this card are going to be the first 3 matches on this card. Strong Young, Bate Dunne, and AOP DIY.
And you may very well be right. Although, to be fair, I do have high expectations for the women's triple threat. I think that could be a lot of fun. But, yeah, so are we talking about Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne?
Yes, we are. Yeah, UK title match. I think Bate's retaining.
Yeah, because you know what? I've really been debating with myself on this TakeOver card. But I will say, yeah, I think Tyler Bate is retaining. Because, honestly, I don't think there will be a title change. I've heard rumors about a UK-based program in the WWE, kind of like the UK equivalent, like 205 Live, and I think probably the first episode of that, if it'll come to fruition, that would be where you do a title change. This TakeOver, I mean, while it's a big setting, I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger on Pete Dunne, so I'm just going to take the safe bet. I'm going to say Tyler Bate retains.
Are you, like, would you consider yourself a fan of either one of these guys?
Not really, and that's not to say that I actively dislike either guy either.
Right.
It's just when they're on,
you're still kind of sitting on the fence waiting for one of them to do something that makes you really go one way or another on them.
Exactly, and hell, this match might be it. You know, we might be live reacting to this match, and I might be like, holy fuck, you know, Pete Dunne, I want to punt babies across football fields with that guy. Or Tyler Bate, you know, that mustache is just freaking ace. But yeah, I mean, as it stands right now, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, well, 2 quality wrestlers. I guess I'll just enjoy this. I don't have that pop or that connection with them that I do so many of the other guys I talk about on here. But yeah, so I mean, I'm still looking forward to it, though, simply on the basis of it being a solid in-ring contest. Plus, Jim Ross is going to be on commentary, which that'll give it the replayability alone for me. So yeah, Tyler Bate for the win.
Yeah, we're both picking Bate. All right, let's get to our sort of our peak of the night, the match that I fully expect to be the best match on the show. Authors of Pain DIY ladder match for the NXT Tag Team Championship.
You know what's funny is I went into the show thinking that there was going to be a title change. I'm like, you've got 4 title matches. To me, just something in the back of my mind says one of these championships is going to change hands. And I've been oscillating between this and one other match. And I got to say, really, after deliberating, I'm going to have to peg DIY to regain the titles. I don't see AOP winning this match. I think DIY is going to find a way to win, which may be weird because it would seem logically that the road is AOP retains here, but then Heavy Machinery steps up or some other team. But I think there's going to be a curveball. I mean, here's the thing. DIY could win this, and at a TV taping or something, they could lose them right back to AOP. AOP could become 2-time champions. I would not put that past NXT. But for now, I don't know. I see DIY walking out with the gold, so I'm actually picking them to become the new NXT Tag Team Champions.
You know, here's the reason why I think the Authors of Pain win this.
Right.
It's a ladder match, which means Paul Ellering can do whatever the hell he wants, and it won't be illegal. So what they're going to do is they're going to have Ellering out at ringside, and they're going to pretend like they're going to kind of ignore the fact that it's a no DQ match because it is a ladder match, which means it's no DQ. So they're going to kind of ignore that until a very pivotal moment in the match, and then Ellering is going to interfere, and everyone's going to be like, well, he can't do that. And then we're going to be like, oh, wait, it's not a disqualification. There are no DQs. It's a ladder match. He can do that. He had us all fooled. We thought he was going to chill out, and we thought that he was going to follow the rules, but it turns out he was, you know, the rules say there's nothing wrong with him doing what he's doing now. So, yeah, I think AOP wins thanks to Paul Ellering somehow managing to screw DIY over again. And the main reason for that is because I think that the plan is still for TM61 to dethrone the AOP.
So essentially what you're saying is Paul Ellering, given the environment we found ourselves in, is going to look dead right into the camera and be like, are you kidding me? I developed the algorithm. There's no bell to ring. And screw DIY is essentially, you know, what you're saying. So that's interesting. Yeah, I could totally see that. Yeah, man. And see, me thinking ladder match, it's like, oh, if it's in the babyface's wheelhouse, normally, you know, it does seem like they'd come out with the win. So
I disagree with that even. I feel like a lot of the time WWE sets up matches designed for the babyfaces to win, and that makes it almost more likely then that the heel will come out on top. Like, I feel like maybe this is more anecdotal evidence than actual proven, like, you know, a pattern or anything. But I definitely feel like I remember being surprised by the heel winning a match designed for the face to win than cathartic at the face winning the match designed for them to win.
Right. I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, this is definitely going to be a very interesting match, though, if for no other reason, because you've got these guys in AOP who, you know, yeah, they've had their scares, certainly, which they've talked about, but I still like the team, and I think when they work with a great team like DIY is, it's usually a really fun match. And you just got to wonder, like, hell, dude, you've been talking about Paul Ellering getting involved. What if his involvement really is because he's smaller than these guys and he could probably, even at his age, ascend a ladder faster than either of those guys put together? What if he brings the belts down for his team? You know?
I don't think it'll be that over the top, but I do think Ellering will get involved. So, I mean, yeah, you could definitely be right. He could go that far, and it would be something that we haven't really seen before. But my prediction ends at I think Ellering will get involved somehow.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, I know it's kind of off topic, but it did kind of spur me to get inside your mind. Bullet Club versus the Shield said, as long as I get heel champ, if TM6, or excuse me, somebody, Alex Foster mentioned TM61, but if DIY lose this.
No,
you don't think so?
They're never breaking up. Never.
Never break. No, wait.
Nope, they're the NXT New Day. It's never happening.
No, wait. The way you said that, though, that seemed emotionally defensive. Is that your headcanon? Is this what you want your headcanon to be? Them just being besties forever?
Headcanon implies that something was vague or left up to interpretation. In this case, it hasn't happened yet. So I can say because it hasn't happened yet, that means it hasn't happened yet. So, like, it's not, headcanon is definitely not the right way to go. I mean, is it me getting emotional about the idea of them breaking up now that we've had them for so long and I've grown attached to them? Yes, but that's definitely not a headcanon.
All right. Well, it's definitely you putting up an emotional barrier. Like, no, I will not let this possibility intrude on what I have. So, we'll see.
Like that guy on Dexter getting killed. It's not happening, goddammit.
Yeah, no, I mean, look. If it's any consolation, we'll all be here to console you when it does. But for the time being,
kind of like Kushida not winning Best of Super Juniors this year. I'm completely in denial about that, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, well, whatever makes you sleep at night. Let's get on to our next match, partner. What do we got on tap?
Women's triple threat: Asuka versus Ruby Riot versus Nikki Cross for the NXT Women's Championship. And I feel like you've been going first a lot, so I'll just say I've got Asuka retaining.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, guys. I did say earlier that I expect this match to be a lot of fun, but to me, fun and unpredictable are two different things. I think these women will have a great journey, but the destination is the same. Asuka's reign continues. Because now, I mean, here's the thing. If I wasn't convinced before that Ember Moon was the one, quote-unquote, destined to end the reign of Asuka, I sure as shit am now, because I can tell you they're going to play up her absence and her being injured and the injury caused by Asuka. Like, you've got to have narrative catharsis for that. And so I think Asuka's going to pin Ruby Riot here because I think Nikki, in their mind, being a part of a faction is the greater priority, whereas Ruby's still relatively new. Excited for Ruby, though, that this is already her second takeover, and she's competing for the NXT Women's Championship. She's got a big platform to show what she can do because she's sharing it with two other women, whereas she was a part of that tag match last takeover. So, yeah, really cool stuff, but I do think she'll eat the pin. Asuka will retain. And when Ember comes back, then maybe we can talk about this reign finally ending. So, yeah.
No, see, and I don't even think it's going to be Ember anymore. I think the Ember Moon train has left the station. I think that the one person who's going to unseat Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship is whoever the hell wins the women's tournament in, a few months.
Interesting. Well, wait. Is that because you think that the winner just taking it one step ahead would be like Kairi Hojo or somebody, and then you do like that?
Yeah,
big
it's
time
definitely
angle?
it's gonna be either Kairi or Io Shirai, one of the two Stardom women that they just recently signed. Most likely Kairi because I don't know. It just seems like they signed her sooner, so maybe they're more content with her. I don't know, but Yeah, I think Kairi or Io Shirai, one of them two women is probably going to be the one to take it off Asuka. Whether that's in December or January, I think they're going to just give Asuka a reign of terror so that when someone finally does take the title off of her, it means more.
Well, I'll tell you what, if that distinction does now belong to Kairi Hojo, holy fuck, what a way to make a splash. Because say what you will about the Asuka title reign, but they can talk about that until the end of her career. That being Kairi Hojo, if she's the one to end the reign and the streak simultaneously. So yeah, you just might be right, bud. We'll see. But we both agree on Asuka, so let's move on.
All right, man. Well, the only thing we have left is the main event: Bobby Roode versus Hideo Itami.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. My heart for this match. Because here's the thing,
This
guys.
is probably the toughest match on this card to call, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Because again,
we're right at that like 6-month mark on the Roode title reign, where maybe it's like in the red zone, where maybe he's hot enough that we can take it off of him. But are they willing to trust Hideo after all of his injury history with the belt? And maybe they want to do a return match, so they want to have Bobby cheat to win since it's their first match, and Hideo has gotten all this momentum. So, you know, previous indicators would kind of tell you that, like, yeah, Hideo isn't going to win, even though they built him so well. So, like, yeah, I don't know.
And yeah, at the same time, the case for Hideo, like they did all of those video packages on the Go Home show, like for it not to culminate here. I won't be hyperbolic and be like, oh, it'd be spitting in the face or anything like that. It's just, it really is a tough call. I mean, guys, I'm going to say right now, this match, simply from the emotional standpoint, will probably be peak live reactions, speaking for myself, because I am so happy for Hideo that, first of all, he's fucking competing. Second of all, he's in the main event and competing for the NXT Championship, something that I know NXT probably wanted to do with him forever ago. I mean, hell, when they initially did that injury angle of him, like, taken out and Joe, like, just kind of strolling right on by, remember, Balor faced Breeze that night. It was supposed to be a triple threat, and I had heard that Hideo was supposed to go over. So this has been a long time coming, Hideo, in this spot. It just goes back to the question that you just posed. Will they pull the trigger, given his history? I mean, God, because you guys always know that there's always that one match where John is clouded by his rational judgment, and he says, oh, you know, because I love this guy, I'm going with this guy. And I adore Hideo. I adore his story, and I want him to win so goddamn bad, but I still think it's Roode's time. You know, honestly, Ty Dillinger leaving really fucked a lot of things up, because I'm happy for him. I don't blame him in that way, but it's just, you know, I had said so long before that, oh, Ty's going to end the reign. Ty's going to end the reign. Ty's going to end the reign. Well, Ty ain't here now. So to me, the reign ender is up for grabs. Do I think Hideo would be an exceptional choice? Absolutely. Is he the choice? You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to be in a fun mood come Saturday. I'm going all in. I'm going to say, you know what? I changed my mind. Hideo Itami is going to become NXT champion. I'm doing it. Dude,
if you're making this decision based on your emotions, you should pick Roode so that you win either way. If Roode wins, you win because you predicted correctly. If Hideo wins, you're happy and you don't care that you guessed wrong.
I'm not giving that citizen of Mexico and North my support.
Oh, my God.
Steiner math forever. Yeah. Hideo, I'm going with Hideo. So let me guess, though, based on your tone, you're probably going with Roode, right?
Yeah, I'm picking Roode to retain. And the main reason is because it just seems like all of the current crop of contenders that you would think about in the world title picture are good guys. Aleister Black, Cassius Ohno, Roderick Strong, Drew McIntyre. They're all good guys. So, yeah, I think that Bobby's going to keep the title so that we can get all of these matches between him and the top contenders out of the way.
I mean, we'll see, because I won't deny, yeah, there are a lot of people.
Let me just put it this way. Pending any eventual heel turns, which are possible, but we don't have them yet, so we can't assume that they're going to happen. If Roode loses the title to Itami, after the rematch, who does Itami face?
Eric Young, immediately. I've been saying how I feel like they've been keeping him hot just for that occasion where they could just push him right in there.
All
So
right.
yeah.
Well, that's one guy. I mean, that's definitely fair. I'm not going to try and take that away from you. It's definitely a good, you know, prediction. So you definitely have at least one guy, but I've got like 3 or 4 in my back pocket that are good guys that I think are going to be going against Roode. So it's just one of those things where I think that the likelihood of Bobby keeping the title and just kind of running with it are a lot better than Hideo winning. And I personally, I want Hideo to win. I think Hideo
Oh, I
winning
know
would be
that.
great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially because Hideo as champion then increases the odds of Andrade being pushed to the main event and challenging for the title, even though right now he would need a hell of a lot credibility repair in order to be able to do that. But yeah, I mean, they're doing a storyline right now with Almas that might culminate in something clicking and him all of a sudden going on a winning streak and being built up to the title. So would I love it if Hideo won the title? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? No.
All right. Well, that's it, my man. That's NXT Takeover Chicago.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to this show. I always look forward. See, that's the thing. When everything cooperates, I do enjoy live reacting to takeovers, with you guys, because we really kind of see where the brand is going, before the next batch of hot tapings, after that initial lull they get over, which we don't even cover. So I'll be interested to see what decisions they make. And man, this main event, I will say this too, if I could just say one more thing about the main event, because of how I went on and on about Hideo, you can tell that this is the first time in quite some time that I've been this emotionally invested in an NXT main event. So I will give Chicago that going for it, because I really do care about seeing Hideo in this spot, and I want to see him succeed, and I know you just said you do too. So yeah, they've definitely got my emotional investment for the main event, which is more than I can say for the last few shows. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to hand it over to you to take us home.
All right, my friend. We are pretty much finished now. I guess just kind of comes down to preview predictions for Backlash tomorrow, and then we get to live react to this show on Saturday. Hope it's better than we expect, but the last few NXTs we've expected to be pretty, I guess, middle of the road, and they've been pretty middle of the road. So hope this obviously surpasses our expectations, but not expecting it to expect our expectations, because otherwise they wouldn't be our expectations. That being said, though, on Sunday we will also be live reacting to Backlash, which is another show that doesn't look amazing, but looks kind of decent, and we'll be predicting and previewing that show tomorrow at the same time at 8 p.m. Unless, John, would you prefer to do that at 9 because of your day tomorrow?
I mean, that's fine with me. If our audience is cool with going live at 9, I'm fine with that. It's the will of the people. So yeah, we will be talking about Backlash, like you said. Really for that. And you know what? I'm gonna save all talk for when it's appropriate for Friday. But yes, we will be covering Backlash tomorrow.
Okay, let's make this official. 8 or 9.
I'm gonna say 9. Yeah, we'll go live at 9.
Okay. We'll see you guys tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Apologies to our UK fans. That's 2 a.m. for you. But you'll be able to wake up Saturday morning and listen if you didn't want to check it out live anyway. Not that huge of a deal. So, of course, we've got that. Then we got live reactions 2 days in a row. And then we're back to the grind next week with SmackDown live reactions and Lucha Rewatch. And then the following week, Lucha Underground Season 3 returns with All Night Long again. Mac versus Mundo. It's going to be incredible. May 31st. I'm just hyping the hell out of that. But also worth hyping is our Q&A, which will be next Friday, not tomorrow, but the following Friday, May 26th. And I also am polling the audience. I want everyone to let me know. We are going to be beginning to cover Progress most likely in June, and we want you guys to let us know, would you prefer Progress reviews or Progress live reactions? So far, we've got 4 votes for live reactions, and I believe 1 vote for a review, but I want as many people to kind of give me an answer and to tell me what you guys think as possible. I want as many opinions, as many input points as possible. James, you've already voted like twice. I don't want to count your vote more than once. I don't want to count anyone's vote more than once. So, yes, let us know. Live reactions or reviews for Progress. We're going to be starting at Chapter 1, working our way up to catching up, and then from that point on, once we catch up, we will be covering Progress as a regular part of the channel when new shows get put up. We'll be talking to you guys tomorrow night at 9 p.m. for our Backlash preview and predictions. And of course, stay tuned.